Welcome to Loving Out Loud, how to improve communication, sustain sexual passion, and create lasting love relationships. My name is Paula Smith, and I'm your summit host. Loving Out Loud is about loving fiercely and showing up in a different way to create a new reality, one that allows you to access your deepest truths and desires. No matter where you are in the love and life cycle, Loving Out Loud is a prescription for awakening your heart, your mind, and your body to a deeper consciousness and a more authentic and intentional self-expression. Welcome to Loving Out Loud. My guests today are Hedy and Yumi Schleifer. Hedy is a clinical psychologist, licensed mental health counselor, and internationally known relationship specialist, clinical trainer, workshop presenter, and motivational speaker. Formerly a member of the faculty of Imago Relationship Institute, Hedy has trained and certified hundreds of therapists and workshop presenters in many countries in the practice of Imago relationship therapy. Hedy is currently the director of the Tikkun Learning Center, an international training company. She is the originator of the encounter-centered couples therapy approach. Yumi is a Columbia University graduate, a former aerospace engineer, and successful businessman. Yumi has trained alongside Hedy in the art of constructive relationships. Yumi has taught classes in re-evaluation, co-counseling, and has co-created with Hedy a chapter of the Foundation for Mideast Communication, which promotes a new possibility for peaceful resolution in the Middle East. Together, Hedy and Yumi Schleifer are a powerful guiding force as leaders toward the creation of a culture of relational intelligence and relational maturity in couples and organization. Hedy and Yumi believe that world peace begins with the human family and can be best achieved by creating strong, committed, growing, and mature partnerships. This is our recent conversation. I'd like to welcome out loud special guest Hedy and Yumi Schleifer to Loving Out Loud. Welcome here.
Thank you.
Welcome here. I have been hearing about your work. I've read about your work. We have some of the same friends in common, and I am delighted that you made it back in time from Israel to be able to be here today.
So are we.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you're doing amazing work in the world. And so you're traveling all over working with couples, right?
Well, we're doing a number of things.
You're doing a number of things.
A number of things, including working with couples.
So can you tell our viewing audience a little bit about what you're doing and some of the work that you're doing with couples, with individuals, training?
Okay. I'll just give you kind of a summary view, and then Hedy will amplify.
Yeah.
We started out about 25 years ago working together, and when we discovered Imago, we studied with Harvard Hendricks to do the workshop and to train therapists. And as soon as we had that under our belt, we headed out overseas. And so far, we've covered about 39 countries.
Wow.
So in the process of doing workshops for couples and training therapists, we've also evolved into working with organizations and also with the realization that even though we started out working with couples, but what we're really about is creating connections.
Yes.
So we don't look at it as therapy. We don't look at it as that we work with couples in order to therapize them. We teach them how to connect so they can live more fully and more fulfilledly. And that's what we're trying to bring to everywhere where we have an opportunity to work. So that's what we teach also in organizations, and that's what we try to teach people who study with us. It's all about helping people to create connections. We see that as a primary mission that we have.
Yep. So, Hedy, you going to elaborate some?
The only thing I want to add is this, that we have just celebrated 49 years of marriage.
49 years.
49 years of marriage.
Wow.
And
congratulations.
we have just come back from doing a honeymoon. And the reason we could do a honeymoon is because out of the journey that we've taken together, we've grown our connection to a place where actually I think this was our first fully conscious, fully delicious, fully even, fully deeply, extravagantly happy journey that we've taken in our marriage. And I think that what we do is teach through our relationship. People watch us, they look at the space between us, and they get a sense of what is possible just by being with us. And I really do feel that the best teacher that we are is the relationship that we are.
Right. And see, that's what it really means to love out loud. Loving out loud is being able to have something so beautiful, so expressive, so real that other people can see.
Hi.
Hi, you still there?
It froze, yeah.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay.
Okay.
So you guys are the epitome of loving out loud.
Now we are.
Now you are. This is what it is.
A while.
You know? Yeah, we want role models. We want to be able to see that it's possible. Yeah. Because as we know in the work we do, that there are a lot of couples out there that don't know that.
Yes.
Yeah, and as I said before, we realize it's about creating connections. And one of the things we assert is that also love emerges when people connect truly.
Right.
So it's not like we need love to connect. I think you need to learn how to connect, and then love appears.
Yeah. So how do you do that? How do you help people to connect? How do you do it with couples? And also, Yumi, how do you do it in organizations? I've been very curious about that.
Okay, so Hedy will cover the couples because that's her forte. Okay. And I'll tell you a little bit about organizations.
So the first thing is that what has emerged for us through the work we've been doing over the years is that if we embrace 3 invisible connectors, there will be a transformation. And I want to talk about these 3 invisible connectors because what disconnects us is the reactive survival dance that every couple dances. Not just every couple, but every nation dances a reactive, automatic survival dance. Okay. And if we look around the world, we can see that this connection is created by the reactive survival dance. But what connects us? And slowly but surely, out of our own relationship, we discovered that there are 3 invisible connectors. And one is that space, the relational space that we are 100% responsible for. And if we take full responsibility for the space to make it as sacred as it is, as safe as we can possibly make it, as rich and fertile, then who we are in the essence can emerge and we can be, for example, in my case, the full out loud Hedy. The full out loud Yumi.
Yeah, yeah.
Happen if both of us feel that we live in a territory, a garden that we are tending magnificently well. And so the first invisible connector is the tending of that space.
Okay.
And what we teach couples is how to tend the space.
Okay.
The second invisible connector is that wonderful bridge that exists between the worlds, because as we know, couples who come together are profoundly incompatible. Only the incompatibles come together. And therefore, we need a bridge where we can go to visit in the world of the other and be a good visitor. And so one of the things we teach is the art of visiting and the art of hosting. Because hosting really means to open up your world and allow the other one in. Visiting really means leaving your own world fully and come with completely new eyes and curiosity and complete openness in the world of the other to actually learn their culture, learn their language, learn their rhythm, learn their music, how to be a good visitor, how to be a good host. And another metaphor we use is the metaphor of the neighborhoods, because our own world is made up of many, many neighborhoods, an expanding amount. You know, as you grow and you develop and you become wiser and bigger and stronger and more out loud, you also have more and more neighborhoods in your world.
Right.
And the capacity to invite your partner into a specific neighborhood and host them there.
Okay.
So that is the bridge. And then the third invisible connector is the encounter. It's actually the encounter of the souls. It is a dimension. It's a spiritual dimension. It's a dimension that we don't often think about in connection. What is it when two souls really meet each other? And creating the conditions for the encounter is the third invisible connector. And we teach couples, all three, we teach them to honor the space and revere it. We teach them to cross the bridge and grow their art of their art of hosting, their art of visiting, and how to actually be responsible for the neighborhood you invite your partner in. And we teach them to create the conditions for the encounter so that they can have more and more encounters, and as a result, feel more and more met, truly met in their essence.
Wow.
Paula, I don't know if you know, you may know that my first career was an engineer.
Yes, I did. I read that.
And my second career was a businessman. And about 25 years ago, I decided, after having been exposed to Harvard Hendricks and Imago workshop, I decided this looks like something I might be interested in. And it came to the point where my business got in the way of what I really wanted to do. So this is my fourth career. This is my fourth career, working with Hedy. The reason I mention it is because if you came to one of our workshops or trainings, you discover that Hedy and I have different language. You probably sense that Hedy loves to talk in a, I would say maybe a more spiritual, more, she uses words like sanctification and the space and soul. And I, with my engineering background, I don't feel totally comfortable with these words. They feel a bit abstract for me.
Okay.
It's good that we do the workshop together, because in most workshops we find that I'm more credible than Hedy, especially to the guys. So instead of the space, you know, I use the term relational dynamics. What is the relational dynamics between a couple? And, you know, we see that in action. And the result of that may be something like a space. But what I like to use is the word of relational dynamics. And the soul, to me, is a little bit too abstract. So I use the word entity or person or our potential self. And so I just wanted to inject the fact that being a couple and doing this work as a couple means that we have, in a way, a broader way of expressing ourselves, which I think is a benefit to everybody in the workshop.
So if we are a couple, you have to be bilingual. See, I have to know his language and he has to know my language, and we have to be good translators too.
Right. And I picked that up right away. I guess in Imago language, it would be sort of maximizer, minimizer, alligator, turtle kind of thing. Like energy is more out, right? And the other energy is more in. And then even with that, hold up. Okay. And even with that, there's a language with that. So yeah.
I'd say it's beyond the maximizer, minimizer.
Right.
So I think we're although those are nice two archetypes, and they certainly couples need to fall in either one or the other category. But I think what's essentially driving the relationship is much deeper than that.
Right.
And I think we get to that in the workshop by speaking the language that Hedy speaks with my editorializing. So let me come back to, you wanted to know also about organizations.
Yeah, because it makes sense that you wouldn't use that same language in an organization.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But in organization, we tend to be a little bit more careful about what are the words, because their expectation from having been exposed to speakers and trainers, they have a language that they can relate to, and words like soul and space create some kind of a barrier that we need to come over. So we tend to be a little bit more careful about the language we use. The objective is the same, because we claim that the essential ingredient in any well-working organization are the connection between the people. And so we teach connection at different levels. We have one course which is called the relational leader, for example. So this is just primarily to people who are in a management position, and training them how to become more effective managers by adding to the language of their operational ways of doing things, also the language of connection. And then, what is the other course we have? Remind me.
The relational organization.
Yeah, the relational organization, where we have a whole group of people from the organization across the board, from different departments, where, again, the objective is pretty much the same. We also teach a course that is called Appreciative Inquiry, which is not ours. It's something that was created by a group of people that we know. And what we like about it, it's an organizational development course, but it's very positive, very much based on what works well in an organization, rather than trying to solve problems.
Oh, good. Wow.
We've adapted that attitude in the work with couples. Wow. That when Hedy starts working with a couple, the first thing she does is
I find out what their wildest dream is for the relationship. Yeah. But I wanted to just add to what Yumi was saying, because we just were invited to Athens, Greece.
Wow.
It was part of our trip. And we were invited by an organization called Entrepreneurs Organization. And there were 1,100 business people from 132 countries.
Wow.
12% of them were women, which was exciting. It's a growing number.
Mm-hmm.
But the course we taught there was a workshop called The Art of Listening and the Power of Connection.
Wow.
And it was really beautiful to see how well received the course was.
Mm-hmm.
We created a space for people to actually learn about the three invisible connectors and then to cross the bridge to each other in a deep way. And they just connect at such a deep level.
Yeah.
Their essence showed up and they were deeply moved.
Thank you so much for being on Loving Out Loud today.
Oh my goodness.
This has been
Pleasure.
unbelievable.
Let me ask you this. One more question to you.
Sure.
What is it that most intrigues you that you'd like to ask us that you haven't asked?
Oh, well, I don't know, maybe I'm making a whole lot of assumptions here, but what has been the ingredient, and I'm making assumptions already, that has sustained you for 49 years? What can you what can you pass on to couples? Because I imagine that for couples who may be watching, they can't fathom a relationship that has, and to see you here, right? So what can you offer?
I will say one thing, and of course Yumi will say something different. For me, it's been to choose him again and again every time he transformed. So now he's my 28th husband.
Wow. Okay.
In this man, I have 28 husbands. 2 years ago, he got sick, and I chose that man. He was my 27th husband. I chose the man who was weak and sick as my husband because I wanted to love him just as he was.
Yeah.
Weak and sick.
Yeah.
And then he came out of it.
Yeah.
And he's all well. And now he's my 28th husband. And I'm choosing him again.
Again. Choose again and again.
Choose again and again.
So as you can see, Paula, I was very fortunate that I was led to marry a woman who was able to do that. Because, this was not necessarily the beginning of our relationship. We worked for a long, long time until we no longer had to invite each other to cross a bridge, 3 times a day. Mm-hmm. Or even in the middle of a workshop, because, we stepped on each other's toes. So, but I think the ability of Hedy to accept me and to encourage me to get out of my survival suit, which was very, very thick and heavy and very well rooted, attached to me for the longest time. So, so I think, and also the fact that we were fortunate enough to have decided to learn whatever we can about the relationships, about how to create our life. And we kept on doing that for quite a while. We did many, many workshops to learn. And my willingness to transform, which for most men is not very easy.
Right.
And it wasn't easy for me either, but I had somebody who encouraged me.
Yeah. So I'm so glad you said that, because what can you say to men? I mean, you said something that's really important.
Okay. I'm going to say something that may shake some men up.
That's okay.
I've been saying for several years to my friends, male friends, I said, we better learn how to become more relational. Women have that to a certain degree in their very nature, in the way they developed, in the way women developed over history. And for men, it's more difficult because they're more used to doing it alone and being more of a macho, self-sufficient guy. But I said, if we don't become more relational, because the world is going that way, because the survival of the world is depending on people becoming more relational, then we're going to become an extinct species.
Yeah.
Because women are going to find a way of reproduce without necessarily needing men. So, with some men, this may register.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Thank
it was
you
a
so
pleasure.
much.
A joy to meet you.
Such a pleasure. And I hope to have another conversation with you soon.
Okay.
Great.
And one suggestion, if I may,
Yes.
is take another crack at finding a rabbi and talk to him about,
Or her.
or her, him or her,
Yeah.
about the journey you're on. Because I think, from my perspective, a Jewish tradition can create great enrichment in one's life.
I totally agree with you. I've studied Old Testament, and I've studied all religions, and I totally agree with you, and thank you so much for that suggestion.
You're welcome.
And I'm going to make sure that Yael sees this interview tonight when she gets home.
So this is a hug to you and to Yael.
Thank
We're
you
giving
so
you
much.
a big hug.
Thank you so much for loving out loud with us today.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.